Welcome to Can't Stop the Pop, the podcast where we, that's me, Craig,
and me, Matty,
do a deep dive on a song from the 90s or noughties.
So, Craig, what song are we doing this week?
Well, Matty, I feel your lips, your fingertips. We are doing Louise and Naked. So what are your immediate thoughts?
I love this song. It's great. No, honestly, I don't really. So the song is so good. It's just brilliant, and I definitely was aware of it and knew it when I was younger, but I didn't know it.
Yeah.
I only sort of really got into it sort of retroactively when she has had a recent comeback, and I'll put my hands up and say that. But before we get into it, why are we talking about Louise Naked?
Well, so Louise Redknapp was formerly in Eternal, and this was her third single as a solo artist.
Eternal, the girl band, not Eternal... the Marvel movie.
No, she was not. That would be some real time bending. That would not. Yes, she was not in the Eternals. She was in Eternal. And she left, and she went solo, and she had released 2 singles up to this point. Light of My Life was her debut, and then In Walked Love. And In Walked Love underperformed. It missed the top 10. And I think at that point, there was a bit of a okay, well, Eternal actually moved on to their second album, and they were doing really well. What do we do with Louise? Well, Matty, what we do with Louise is we come up with a song like Naked. And I think it's one of those songs that it just helped define her as an artist. And I really like that. I like it when a pop song fully understands what Louise could be as a pop star. It positions her. I don't know how you feel about the previous 2 singles, Light of My Life and In Walked Love. I wouldn't say they're songs that Eternal would have recorded, but equally, particularly with In Walked Love, it's not a song that Eternal wouldn't have recorded.
Yeah, totally.
But Naked, for me, is the point at which you go, well, Louise is doing this and Eternal are doing this, and there's absolutely no crossover between these 2 things. And it's a very 90s song, I think, production-wise. I've always... Do you know when it starts, and it's like that weird distorted organ sound. It's a really weird sound.
That's what it sounds. That's it. That is the
I don't recognise that as being the Naked. Are we talking about the same song? I don't recognise that as being the Naked we're talking about here. But
it's the distortion.
Okay. But we're mid-90s. We're 1996. This was released 27th of May, 1996. If you're going to give a female pop star a song called Naked, there is every chance in the mid-90s it could be really naff and really tacky and really, that tawdry British humour, but there's real confidence to it. It's an assertive... Louise is assertively naked. She's not... Yes, there's sex appeal. You are a little bit younger than me. Louise was the perfect beard for any teenager who was afraid that someone might suspect they were gay, because Louise was she was other lads' mags. She's so pretty, so attractive. You could like her. So I think there are 2 people who like Louise. There are people who like Louise because of the way she looks, and there are people who like Louise because of the way she sounds. I don't think there's necessarily a crossover between those audiences.
I was sorry, it's a really weird side tangent. I sing in a vocal group, and it were different lineups every time. And there was one lineup with a very good friend of mine, who's straight and a bit younger than me. And I was listening to some music, and usually has no idea the stuff I'd listen to in the cabin or whatever. I'm going to the gym. And then I said, like, oh, he said, who's that? It's Louise. And then I was about to go, oh, she was in Eternal. He went, I know who Louise is. I was like, oh, okay. He was like, Louise Redknapp. Of course I know who she
Yeah.
is. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Different demographic.
Totally.
So the thing is about the song for me is that even though it's called Naked, as you say, it doesn't veer into tarty territory. The song is about making someone feel naked. It is... So 1996, I'm going to pull in all of the sort of other female references which were clearly used to create the song. In that this is a post-Madonna Bedtime Stories record of human nature. This is a post a few years later, but it feels like very much a sister song to the whole 1990 Kylie Rhythm of Love, Shocked, What Do I Have to Do, with a little bit of Janet Jackson thrown in there, of, you know, you've got a lot of that 90s influence, all remixed together. I'm throwing all the references out there, but then produced with there's a little bit of 90s dance, there's a bit of Ultra Natte in there. I just feel like it's a melting pot of what the sound of the era was, that middle of that decade. We, correct me if I'm wrong on the release date, because obviously it was 96. So we are, the Spice Girls are launching at this point, right?
Yes, this is a few months before the Spice Girls breakthrough.
We are before Wannabe. Okay. So let's say, which is just about, but that's obviously the linchpin of where pop music changed in the UK in what was being pushed in the charts. This was still very much from the era of the early 90s US dance influence tracks as well. And it's produced so well. Yeah. Even though it sounds 90s, it hasn't aged badly. As a sidebar, I really, really love the reimagined version that she did as well for her greatest hits. It's just so epic. But as a little piece of pop history, you're right in what that you say, in that I think this was Louise absolutely at her best as a pop star in this era.
Yeah.
And obviously we'll talk about the stats and stuff later. But I think it's sad that she admittedly kind of lost her mojo as a pop star as she went along. And it wasn't until she sort of come back for the more recent records that she's done in which that she's felt that confidence again. And you can see it on stage and feel it in the music that she's creating and releasing these days. The Confessions album is one of my favorite albums of the year. And it gives me that same vibe that Naked did back in 96.
Yeah, I love. There's two things about the production. I've already told you about one of them, which is my favorite bit of the song. Is well, firstly, there's the rap with the telephoned in voice effect, which is very of its time and actually would continue to be into the later 90s. But then at the end of it, there's the drum kick, which is not just the best bit of the song. It's one of my favorite moments of pop music ever. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Which is something which is very, very common in, who did I mention before? Janet Jackson songs. That element of Rhythm Nation, that she's even done it in more recent stuff like Feedback. Like, it's that everything will cut out and we'll just go back into the chorus. It's such a good moment. Honestly, I don't think there's, other than talking about the production style and where it is, I don't think there's too much that we can speak about the song other than the fact that we both just love it. Like, I love it so much.
Yeah, no, it's melodically, it's one of those songs that just flows. Everything just flows so well. It's so smoothly written. It's more of a sensual Naked than a sexual Naked, and I appreciate it for that. I like it very much.
it's not too tarty. It's not like it's really got a lot of class to it. It's great. And to be honest, I think that comes across most in the video. So should we talk about the video?
Let's talk about the video.
Let's talk about the video. So within this video, right, go on. You take it away. Well, you give me the Cliff Notes version.
Okay, here it is. And you haven't. This is literally what I've written down. Chairography, handography, hairography, iconic. I mean, that's. Is there any more than that?
There's every element that you could throw at it is there for a choreographed sequence. For me, it feels, once again, it feels very 90s. It's very referential. That whole, the guy gets almost like strapped to the chair and he's got his little Clark Kent glasses. And even though he's like cute, they don't sexualize him. It's all about his fascination with what is happening in front of him. Which, even though it's male to a female, it just still comes across as unbelievably camp. It's so camp from start to finish. The best moment, and I really want to know how it was done. It's obviously going to be done one of two ways, but there's a moment where when it hits the first chorus, it looks like they're all dressed in like grey or blue type outfits, and then they hit bam of a pose, and suddenly everything is white. Everything is bright white lights, and I watched it back 3 times, trying to work out whether or not it was a costume change that they then shifted the camera, or it's that the fabric that I think it is that the fabric that they're wearing is reflective, so they just shine a light on it, because the styling, once that white bright light comes from all the costumes, the styling is unbelievable. It's so classy. All of the white hair and the sort of, there's a lot of lines that are being used in the makeup and the contouring that bring out this sharp white edges, which also match the choreography. I loved it. Like, I literally wrote, my notes were, styling is perfection.
It really
flows brilliantly.
Yeah, it does. I like that the man enters at the start. He's got like a note from Louise. It's like, we need to talk. And I'm like, okay, well, you take it as this is pop music, so we don't question it. I'm like, if I had a note from my partner and I turned up in a dark warehouse and there was just a chair, I would probably leave. I don't think I would sit down and see what was going to happen. I would probably just turn around and leave. Don't think. But it's a very different. I think Louise is the Louise you see in this video is not the Louise. I don't think Louise doesn't see herself like this. But what it shows is what a good performer she is, because she just switches it on, because she is. Louise is a really humble. She's very grounded, and I think she's always been quite humble about her looks and about her sex appeal. But she turns it on here, literally, and it's such a good performance. This was choreographed, just to like what level we're on here for a third single. This was choreographed by Jamie King, who so he went on to do, he's choreographed for Madonna, Britney, Christina, Rihanna, Avril Lavigne. But you think of the iconic 90s noughties performers and the choreographed tours, he did this, and that comes across in this.
Jenny King's massive.
Yeah. So that's the level we're at with this, and it was a moment. It was a moment when she established herself as a pop star, and it tied in perfectly to where the industry went, because she could ride the success of Girl Power and the Spice Girls and the breakthrough of bubblegum pop, and she was right on the cusp of it at the right point to transition with it, and she did it really, really well.
She did. She did it very, very well, and she rode that success for quite a few years in a way that she was very successful in the UK, and I like a lot of her earlier stuff. I'll be the first person to say, as a later fan to her, I'm much more into her later material, but this song stands out head and above anything else that I think she recorded in the 90s. I think it is so good, and I feel like it could have been. It's so quintessentially Louise, but like it's not too far to suggest that this could have been sung by one of the big, massive female artists of the decade from the US or something like that. Yeah, I love it, and I've grown to love it more and more over the years as I've listened to it again and again. Yeah. Any more thoughts on the video?
I have no more thoughts on the video, but I do want to discuss with you Peppa Pig.
Is Peppa Pig duetting with Adele? Like,
because Peppa Pig was a fan of Naked. Well, not officially. So,
this blows my mind.
Did you know when I sent you? Did you know that this had happened, or were you just like, "This is all brand new information"?
It was new information. I was making my dinner and I was crying with laughter. Like, what? Craig, please explain to our listeners the connection between Louise Naked and Peppa Pig.
So in 2020, the songwriters of Naked, they launched allegedly a £1 million lawsuit against Peppa Pig because for Peppa's album, she recorded a song called Peppa Party Time, which
the pig recorded.
But yeah, which bears some similarities, shall we say, to Naked. Now, I'm not sure that I would think that Peppa Pig had heard Naked. I don't think she should have done. I don't know much about Peppa Pig. I feel that she would not have listened to Naked, but inadvertently, when recording Peppa Party Time, she did plagiarize Naked. And
it's so blatant. It's such a blatant copy of the song. The melody is exactly the same. Exactly the same. And not in a way that I think you can have accidentally done it. It's not like it resembles the production. I do think that this has been taken when they've gone, oh yeah, I remember that song. It's like it's literally the same melody. Like, babe.
And this did result in Peppa, come on, you got caught. But this did result in people, because Louise was promoting Heavy Love at the time. This did result in people going, have you ever thought about doing a duet with Peppa Pig? It's like, no, not really, no.
Oh, people getting asked to do duets with Peppa
a mashup.
Pig.
How have we not had that as a mashup?
You know what? When we do our Can't Stop the Pop club night, maybe that's what we're gonna go. Drop the beat, Peppa Pig.
And
this is not what I thought this episode would go.
I just, I've never really thought about Peppa Pig's musicality, but I just think, well, look, if you're going to steal a song, steal from the best and steal a good song. So at least, if nothing else, if we can take nothing else away from Peppa Pig's musical credentials, it's that she stole from the best.
Oh, that really made me... Never really thought about Peppa Pig's musicality. Oh God! Right? Okay, Craig. Okay, right. So that's what we think. It's what Peppa Pig thinks. So what happened when it was released?
So this song peaked at number 5, and I'm just going to come out and say it. I think that's too low. I think number 5 is a travesty for Naked.
Travesty.
It is her second biggest selling single. But it was the 78th biggest seller of 1996. It sold 167,000 copies. So I hope Louise isn't listening to this. I think this in some respects, this is so going to get so cancelled with this. I think this in some respects goes to the challenge that always faced Louise, is that her profile was often much bigger than her commercial sales.
Yeah.
Because she really was one of the most prominent pop stars of the late 90s. If you open Smash Hits, if you open FHM, then she's there. And all of her, she was very visible on TV. All her, all her singles did reasonably well. But by most other standards, I think this deserved to be a much bigger hit than it was.
Yeah, agreed. Totally agree.
But it was the hit she needed, I guess.
I think that's fair to say. I think that she's one of these people who is quite lucky now within this. I think it's easier in the streaming era to discover and rediscover artists.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? As in, like, because the discography's all up there. And I do think that people look back on her and they go, "Oh yeah, she was there. She was doing it in the 90s. Like, she was releasing great songs. She was performing great records." Whereas the actual sales that she had at the time, as you say, they weren't really representative of how popular she was as a celeb and as a household name. Like, more people would know who Louise is than some other pop stars that sold way more records in the 90s.
Yeah.
But they might not necessarily know all of her records. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Yeah.
And I do think that this... I think what the Naked album lacks to me, because I got this album, of course I did. I don't think this song carries through to the album very well, because I think you would listen to the song and go, this is what the Naked album is going to be all about. And it's not. I don't think it was until the second album that they really consolidated the sound of Naked with more tracks, because that's when you get Arms Around the World and Let's Go Round Again, and you get those much poppier numbers that I think you would expect to come on from an album like this. But the album went top 10. It's her biggest selling album. It established her as a solo artist, and she's still around today. So I'm not going to say it didn't do what it needed to, because it did.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Well, what a great song to discuss. Really glad we got to bring out Louise. God, bring out Louise. But if you are listening, Louise, we would love to interview you. Let's make it happen. We've had many comments. We've had so many comments be like, "Oh yeah, it'd be great."
It would.
And also
Pepper, if you're listening, Pepper, you can come on. We'll interview you too. Not at the same time, though. That might be awkward.
No, but maybe we could make the duet happen. We could have it be a thing. Well, if you want to listen to Louise Naked, you can find it on streaming, or you can, dig out your old CD single if you wanted. And where can they find us, Craig?
Can't Stop the Pop has a website where there are over 500 reviews, including this song, of course, which you can find at can'tstopthepop.com.
We're also on social media. I am Matt_Atkins9 on Instagram. And you can also find us on TikTok at Can't Stop the Pop Podcast, where we talk about loads of other random songs and do little bits of interviews.
I am at can'tstop_the_pop on Instagram and TikTok. We're also at Can't Stop the Pop on YouTube, because we have video content, which you'll know if you're watching it, because you can see us. And we have Patreon now at patreon.com/Can't Stop the Pop for bonus content and exclusive episodes.
Do subscribe to our channels, get in touch, and let us know what you think of the song and what you think of the show, what you think of Louise, and leave us a review, but only a good one, wherever you get your podcasts from. What do you think of Peppa Pig as well? Let us know.
Thank you so much for listening, and join us next time for more
Can't Stop the Pop.